In today's episode, we're talking about a movie that we just happened to watch on a random weekend, only to find out it was one of the most disturbing, bizarre movies we've seen in a long time. Yes, we kind of lost sleep over it. Lamb. Okay, so before we get into the discussion, let's do a brief synopsis. So it's essentially a childless couple discovering a mysterious newborn on their farm in Iceland. That's pretty much it. And this podcast does have spoilers, so I think I will just say it right at the top that the mysterious newborn is a half lamb, half human. Lamb on top, human on the bottom.
Well, kind of.
What do you mean?
Her right hand was the lamb and her left hand was human.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that.
But
You're
everything
right.
else at the bottom was human because they showed like her butt when she was a little baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that was human. And then her head was a lamb.
Yeah.
Is a lamb, yeah.
It was weird. Okay, before we kick things off, let's play a round of trivia, creeping it real. And these are all, I've structured these all as true or false, and I think you know some of them, so we're just going to play along because I think it gives some good insight into the movie. So let's just play along. True or false? Lamb is the highest grossing motion picture in the history of Icelandic cinema.
For Iceland?
Yeah.
Shit. I don't even know any other Iceland movies. Yeah, I think it's true. Is it true?
Yeah, it's true.
Wow.
They earned over $1 million on the first weekend alone.
How? That shit was mad disturbing.
This is an A24 movie, right?
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Oh, yeah, so then.
They got, like, major publicity and marketing behind it, probably.
Yeah.
Even though we had no idea, we had no knowledge of this movie.
I mean, every time I was searching for movies to watch, I saw this movie, but I was like, this shit is weird. So I was like, I don't know,
Well,
but we gave it a chance.
You're not wrong. Question number 2. True or false? Maria lived in Iceland as a child. Maria, the main character.
Yes, because she was speaking Icelandic.
Yes.
Pretty good, yeah.
You're right, true. And this is her first film where she speaks in that language.
So she never done that before? Wow.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Yeah, because we saw a bunch of other movies where she had different accents.
Question number 3, true or false? Maria actually knows how to help a lamb give birth.
True.
Yeah, this is one that you knew already.
Yeah.
But
that shit was real, though. That shit.
I don't actually think she was literally giving birth on the film. I just think that she knows how to, so she was able to depict it properly. Because when I was looking at the trivia, it didn't explicitly say that she gave birth on set. It just said that she spent time on an Icelandic farm where she learned how to do it.
That's cool.
It looked pretty real, and we have seen lamb births.
Yeah, so it looked kind of real, though.
I
think it was real. I think it was real.
But it didn't say that it was real. So you can't really, assume.
Yeah, you can't assume, yeah. Because the graphics in the movie, it was really good.
It was really good,
so
yeah.
Know,
Number 4, true or false? The movie started from the idea of a couple struggling with having a child.
True?
No.
Oh, shit.
I kind of tricked you there because that's kind of like what the movie is about in some ways. But it started with the idea of the lamb-human hybrid. And then they made a whole movie around that.
That's fucking nuts.
Can you believe that was the first idea?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Let's make a movie about a lamb-human hybrid. How are we going to do that?
Wow. That's a seed, right? The seed that it goes. Yeah.
That is wild. All right, and the last true or false, this movie has influences from Greek mythology.
True?
This one is false. But I kind of did this as a trick question because people have been comparing it to the reversal of ancient Greek Minotaur myths, which is in traditional Greek mythology, and it's when King Minos, am I saying that right?
I don't know.
Minos of Crete failed to sacrifice a bull to Poseidon, and the god caused his wife to lust after the animal.
What the fuck?
By it, she conceived the Minotaur, a monster with a bull's head and a man's body, which was confined in a labyrinth. There, it devoured human beings until it was killed by Theseus. I mean,
Alright, all the shit is weird.
I can kind of see it being the reversal of that, but those are just theories from viewers. I don't think that is confirmed at all. But people have been comparing it to that because there's kind of similar vibes going on.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah, but it's really fucking weird.
Okay, let's get into the discussion because as Ian has been saying, this movie was so weird. So let me just start by saying why we decided to watch the movie, and I kind of hinted at it in the intro. We weren't really seeking this movie out. The movie actually came out in 2021, and like Ian said, he happens to just like search through movies for us to find and watch one over the weekend, and he finally picked it, and we just were like, hey, sure, let's just watch this one.
I kept glazing over this movie because I was like, what is this weird ass shit? Every time, and they would show, like, I had no idea about the story. I would just see like the trailers and be like, okay, so I see a lamb and the lady's holding it, and maybe she's just taking care of the lamb. What? I was like, that's not interesting at all. And then boy, were we fucking wrong.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It was just so random because we weren't expecting anything really from this movie, and then after we saw it, we couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, I woke up in the morning the next day and I was like, what? But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with what we liked. The first thing that I'll call out is the production. I think the production was incredible. The vibe was so eerie from beginning to end, which was perfect for this movie. This movie was so weird, and so the eeriness of the vibe fit perfectly. Like, Iceland was the perfect spot to do this.
Yeah, it was like quiet, and then whenever something weird would happen, like a regular, I'm not saying regular, normal person,
yeah,
would be like, you would want to say something, right? Like, what the fuck? But then they'll just be like looking at each other, like, they would just, like, the husband and the wife, they just knew, like, what they were thinking.
Yeah, they had like this understanding that things were just weird, but they never said anything out loud.
I think it's because they were secluded. So it's just like, nobody's gonna know anything, so you might as well do whatever the fuck you want.
That's true. Yeah, that's probably... You're definitely right there.
Yeah, they're just like...
And then the brother just happened to show up, and so they had explaining to do only because of that.
Yeah, and it was like... Well, we'll talk about it afterwards. Keep going. I have a lot of shit to talk about here.
Okay. Another thing about the production that I really liked is the attention to the detail. So, like, yeah, it was filmed in Iceland, but they showed so many different parts of, like, the Iceland farming life. Like, you saw what their job looked like, you saw the things that they experienced living there, such as, like, the sunlight when they were sleeping in the evening, and the farming and putting down the potatoes for, like, seeds and stuff, and the fogginess. It was so good.
Yeah, it was great.
What about the shots of the animals? Whenever they got shots just of the animal's face and their expressions.
Yeah, I don't know if that was real or not.
It was
I was still trying to decide. Like, you would see the animal, and then they'll just be like, it would be looking at you, like staring at you, like you're doing something wrong, or what the hell's going on, or feed me, or like you would see the emotion in the animal when when it was giving birth to you. Just like, what the?
You would see the emotion, and then sometimes you would be thinking a thought, and the animal's face would be depicting what you were thinking. Yeah. So you're like, is that a real animal? And they really got a shot of the animal expressing that?
You can't tell.
It's
so good that you can't tell.
I still don't know if it's real or not, but if it's real, I really want to know how they got the emotion out of the animals, because that was incredible.
Even that was weird. You're like, oh shit.
Not even just with the lambs and what have you. It was also with the dog, with the cat. Like, how on earth did they get those shots? Amazing. Okay, I think this is where you're going to talk the most. Okay. The next thing that we love about this movie, and this is probably the biggest thing, it was disturbing as hell. It was disturbing, it was unsettling, and for me, it was extremely just upsetting. What about you?
Yeah, it was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And how are we just going through with this? And there's a lot of questions that when you watch it, and you don't really get the answer. You don't get the answer, and then like you don't get to find out how the characters feel, or what's going on. So you're just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, it's frustrating almost watching it because the humans are not expressing their thoughts out loud, and so you're just like begging for explanations or thoughts or feelings, and you're just not getting it.
That's why it's disturbing.
I think for me, why it's disturbing is just I don't know, it just really, really upset me down to the core because of the way that the animals were feeling. Like, I felt more for the animals than I did for the humans.
Because they were, like, crying and stuff, too. Like, the mother. The mother was like, where's my baby?
Oh, my God. The mother of the lamb.
Yeah.
The original mother of the lamb.
Yeah, and I just think, like, how was she gonna take care of the lamb? Like, was the lamb gonna be a human, or was the lamb gonna be like taking care of a human, or was it gonna be taking care of an animal? Like, what would be the difference? Like, I keep going through it in my head.
Yeah, because it's almost half and half. So it's like, how do you take care of something like
Both
this?
sides.
Also, like, what were you anticipating the future of this life? Like,
Yeah.
what were you gonna do once it got older?
I don't know. It was probably just gonna be living as their kid, and also it didn't even. You never heard it talk. You just heard it like make little noises. So I don't think it could talk.
Yeah.
Or
you're
she
right.
could talk. I don't want to say it because you didn't know what it was.
Well,
But
the
it
name
was
was Ada, right?
Yeah.
So we're assuming it's a girl.
It was a girl because the body.
And they were saying she. They were saying she.
saying she.
Yeah.
And they dressed her up and they had like little, like they didn't show you. They had like her like the clothes that she was wearing, like like feminine.
Feminine clothing. Yeah. I don't know. It was
yeah,
weird.
It was weird as fuck.
It was so strange. I felt like I was witnessing a fever dream or like a really disturbed, like distorted version of a nightmare.
Yeah, because it was quiet too, and she would just do stuff. I mean, on screen you wanted to see her, like you really wanted to see like what was going on, because you were just like freaked out by her, but you're just like, this is cool. And at point she was cute too, and you're like a little like baby, and you're just like, okay.
I don't know if I wanted to see more of her. Every time I saw her, I was disturbed.
Yeah, and they showed enough of her, like when she was a baby. Like they didn't
Yeah.
show like her whole body, but you saw like her.
They hinted at her anatomy in the beginning part of the movie, and then once they embraced it, they just kept showing like her full body.
Yeah, and the parents were never freaked out about it. They were just like,
Yeah,
this is her.
That's the other thing. They were not freaked out about it at all. Even though the brother showed up, the brother as in the husband's brother just showed up out of nowhere one day, and he was completely disturbed, understandably.
Yeah.
But I think what's disturbing about her is not just her presence. Like, when I say that I didn't need to see more of her, it's not because I was afraid of her anatomy. It was just disturbing the way that her lifestyle, like, the way that her life was set up.
Yeah.
Because she didn't really have control over it. And then I don't know if she was understanding the situation that she was in. And then it was kind of like a battle between, like, her original parents and then these humans that kind of took her over. And it was just, I felt so bad for her.
The thing that fucked my head up is you wanted to know how she was born.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, so she's here and she's born. The first thing, as soon as I saw it, I paused it. I was like, all right, who fucked the goat?
Yeah, because
the lamb, whatever. Yeah, I was like, who fucked the lamb? Like, how does this happen? Did somebody? Remember, we were like, did the parents impregnate? Because she couldn't have a baby, so we were like, did the parents impregnate the lamb to see what would happen?
Yeah.
And then this lamb came about. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But you don't get the answer until the end.
Yeah, so that's what I thought at first. I thought that they, I don't know, put something in the lamb.
Yeah, we paused it and we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because the human couple could not have children. And they had like a little mini graveyard area where they had, I'm assuming, miscarried children. So they were clearly traumatized, they had PTSD, and they were just desperate to care for a child. So I thought that they would go that far to impregnate a lamb. And that's what I thought for 90% of us watching this movie up until the very end. Yeah. And then everything gets actually answered at the end. Like, you think that you're not going to get the answers because this movie is just so vague for most of it. But you do get an answer at the end.
Yeah, but even though you get an answer, it is the right answer. A man fucked a...
Well, a form of a man. He wasn't fully man.
And that's the thing, too. Like, what if this man thing, goat shit, could also be with humans? Like, how would the human come out?
Probably, yeah. Which is even more disturbing.
Yeah, the science in it, because it's like he has an anatomy of a man, which means that he could impregnate a... You know what I mean?
Like a human woman, yeah.
But he impregnated the goat instead.
Yeah.
And then and how was this goat so smart, the mother, to go after her baby, like where her baby is?
That was the weird thing with the animal emotions.
Yeah.
And understand. Well, it's not that shocking if we think about it in the traditional sense. You know, cows grieve for their children when they're taken away from them and stuff like that. So it's not really that bizarre, but to capture it on the camera was wild. But also, like, going back to the goat man, It was a goat man. That was the final reveal.
Yeah, and then how...
the goat man was Ada's father.
And why didn't he go after her?
So
in
like
the beginning?
whole... That's what I'm saying. Like, so basically this goat man showed up on this farm. He impregnated one of the human couple's goats and then left. And then the lamb/goat had the baby. And then he witnessed the human couple taking the baby. And then he showed up after years.
Maybe like...
And took back the baby.
Wait, was it really years or was she growing really fast? That's the thing.
It had to be at least a year.
Because she looked like she was like...
Because she went from a newborn to like a little older toddler. Like an older toddler. Not like a baby toddler.
Yeah, you're right. Because remember also they ate how a lamb grows. I think, in my opinion, I think that she grew really fast.
Like within a year?
I think she grew up really fast because like a animal like a lamb, they grow quick.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I think
so. It could have been like a few months, you think?
Yeah, not a few months, maybe a year. Maybe about a year. Because it looked like after like a couple weeks or whatever, like transition in the film, they looked like they were like used to her already.
Yeah, they showed a progression of like this is kind of hush hush to this is comfortable now, and then the brother being there for some time too, and the brother got comfortable with the child as well with Ada.
Yeah, because you won't know because they didn't really like not explain it, but they did it so that the audience knows, like, follows the story. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to explain every single part of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it just goes forward, like, this is what happened, and then this happens.
And you follow. You follow it,
you
get it. Like, when you're watching it, you get what's going on, because it is quite a slow movie. So you get the progression.
Yeah. They didn't have to explain everything. They let you interpret it yourself, and that's probably why you're like, it's more disturbing.
Oh my gosh. I mean, all in all, this is just to say, like, every element of this movie was so unsettling and weird. Since we're talking about the ending, I will just say, like, another thing that I like about this movie when it comes to the ending is that the ending is a major, major plot twist. Like I said, I thought for 90% of the movie they had impregnated the lamb and that's how they got this hybrid, but in reality it was a goat man that showed up and impregnated the lamb and then left and then came back later. And it's a plot twist, but it makes sense. So it was done well. This plot twist was done really well. And if you kind of think of the plot twist and then you go back and you kind of scroll through what happened throughout the beginning part of the movie, everything adds up. Like, weird things were happening when the humans weren't paying attention, and that is because the goat man was kind of lurking around. So it made sense.
Yeah.
So it was a good plot twist.
They thought they were alone in the farm, and they would always leave the doors open. So you don't know if that goat man was going in there and talking to her, or what she was doing. Because you would see Ada, I'm talking about, because she would leave, and then they would be looking for her and stuff. And then also, you remember the part where the mother did take her? You think the mother took her? I think the father took her. What
do you mean, took her?
When she was a baby. She took her into the grass.
Oh, yes!
I was like, how did that mother drag her over there? Like, she's a human baby. Like, wouldn't that, like, scratch her up?
Yes, you're right. So, and they left the door open. So the lamb mother, which is Ada's original mother, must have alerted the goat man. And the goat man went in and took the baby out of the house and gave it back to the mother.
It had to be. There's no way she could walk in the house, walk up the step, and, like, grab her. How are you going to take her out of the crib?
You're so right.
It had to be him.
It had to be. Yeah. And looking back at it now, that had to be the answer. Because when we were watching it, we were like, what? How? And I was just like, I don't know. She must have just found a way. But that's definitely it.
And also, he wasn't... I mean, he was mad at them. But he wasn't mad at first over there because they didn't kill the mother. He could have go after them and be like, give me back my kid. Remember, he let them alone. He's like, I'm just going to take the kid and my child and bring it back outside.
That was the first attempt of just taking back the baby. And then when the human mother killed the actual mother, the lamb, Goat Man probably got pissed off.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, that's it.
Yeah. And this is a perfect segue into the last point about what I like about this movie. Maybe it's I don't know, or it's just a point, but the humans were depicted very interestingly in this movie. You kind of want to side with the humans because you're a human, right? So when you're watching the movie, you think that you're automatically going to side with them. But I think, in my opinion, when watching this, I sided with the animals every single time. Yeah. And I actually feel like the humans didn't really care at all about the animals. Even though they're farmers, you would think that they do care. They didn't care at all about the animals. And so I thought that was super interesting.
Yeah, because why would she kill her? The only reason she killed the mother is because the mother was wanted her baby back.
Yeah, so you essentially stole that lamb's baby and then killed her because she was annoying you about it.
Yeah, I thought they could have locked her up or something.
That was messed up.
Like, why would you kill one of your animals?
That's messed up. And then you buried the animal, like...
To hide it.
Yeah, it was so sketchy. Okay, so that's one instance where I'm like, you're terrible. You literally killed the mother of that life. Yeah. Okay? They never really showed affection to their pets, quote-unquote pets, which was the dog, the herder dog. The dog didn't even have a name, by the way. It was just dog.
Yeah, they did that shit on purpose, I think.
Right?
Like, they don't even... Yeah.
He wasn't allowed inside the house. They would shut the door anytime he tried to get inside the house. Like, no, you don't belong in the home, which is ironic because you brought an animal into the home.
Yeah.
The cat was allowed inside the house, but the cat was never addressed by the humans. Never picked up, never pet, never showed any affection. The only time that you saw affection towards that cat for the entire movie was when Ada came into the house. Ada, the half animal, half human.
And hugged her.
And hugged her.
Yeah.
And you heard the cat like purring. And it's so funny because once again, I'm siding with the humans because I'm human. I'm thinking, oh, something is gonna go wrong between Ada and this cat being in the house together. And in reality, they're buddies. Yeah. So it was like so interesting that the humans were actually the bad guys, at least in my mind, by the end of the movie.
Should we talk about the brother relationship with the wife? Like,
oh
this
God.
shit was fucking weird.
Another point for the humans being disgusting.
Yeah.
Her husband's brother, her brother-in-law,
keeps hitting on her. And she's just like... It's like a old world mentality. Like, I'm not going to tell my husband because I don't want to start a fight or anything. But at the same time, he's doing some real wrong shit. And she's like, she doesn't want to put up with that shit. And she kicks his ass out of there.
He was so gross.
And I'm sure if he comes back again, she has no choice to welcome him back.
And he was using, like... He was threatening her. Like, I saw you kill the lamb's mom. So I can use this against you. Although I'm sure the husband knew because he didn't see the lamb again. But anyway, like still, he was trying to threaten her to get in her pants. Gross.
Yeah, and you were just like, is he the bad one or is he the good one?
They were all shitty.
They were all shitty, but in the end, I don't know if they got what they deserved, but it was like an eye for an eye. You killed...
Yeah.
You killed my wife. I'm going to kill your husband.
I totally agree. I think it was an eye for an eye. And so I didn't really feel bad when the husband died. I'm like, you got the same karma shit happen to you. You killed the wife. You killed the goat man's wife. I don't know if wife is the right word. Yeah. But you killed the goat man's partner.
So I'm going to kill you.
So I'm going to kill your partner.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take back my baby because technically this is my baby.
That is his baby. Yeah.
So I completely, once again, resonate. Even though goat man was kind of creepy, he was the monster in this story, but not really. I think the humans were.
When I saw him, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what is this shit?
When that plot twist happened, I think we were both like jaw on the floor. Like, wait, what?
And then the next morning when I woke up, I was like, so he fucked her.
He went in there.
Wait, this guy did this to the goat?
He just went in there and picked one, I guess.
There was many he could have picked. He picked that one.
Oh my god, that was just so...
The thing in my head, though, it was like, is this shit real? Because... I'm telling you, the graphics...
Dude, yeah.
The emotion of the animal, I couldn't tell if it was real or not.
Yeah, you're right.
And this could happen. Like, I could believe that this shit could happen somewhere.
I don't think it could happen, but they made a good argument for it looking realistic as hell.
And that's why it was so disturbing, because wouldn't you question that shit? Like, oh, this thing has legs and, you know what I mean? But it's just like, it's a regular shit going on. This is our life now.
Dude, I don't know,
Yeah, that's the disturbing shit about it. That's that A24.
A24 knows how to pick the most disturbing things.
I mean, that's their niche, right? So they should keep it. Yeah. I think they keep it going.
They're good. Their niche is good.
And that's the horror of it, because it's so fucking disturbing and weird.
It's
that you're just
so unsettling.
Yeah.
It really disturbed me to a point where, like, I would look at because I show affection to my pets, obviously. I would look at the two cats and be, like, kind of weirded out.
Yeah,
you know?
I think the night before, I think we saw it on a Sunday, so the night that you went to sleep, I was just like, goat man, and you're like, shut up.
Because you were in the bed. bed getting ready to go to sleep. I'm like, I don't want to think about this anymore.
Man, yeah.
Because I'm just so disturbed. I think I woke up the next day and I was still disturbed, and like I had to wipe my brain from this movie because it just upset me too much.
That shit it was good though.
Let's move on to the dislikes, because I do have some dislikes. I don't know if you do, but the first thing I'll mention is that this movie is extremely slow.
I mean, it was slow, but it gives you time to think, like, what the fuck is going on.
It was a little too slow. I remember looking at you and saying, like, what's gonna happen next? Because I really don't know how to progress through this movie.
Oh yeah, like when they showed you them Ada living with the whole family and everything, you're just like, all right. So
I'm like, now what?
What happens now?
Yeah, and it went on for some time. Like, a good chunk of the movie was just like, okay, so now what? But I guess it was effective in that it built up the story and the emotions towards these characters, but still, it was slow.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that long of a movie. I know I talked about this a lot, but it just made me uncomfortable. And I don't know if that's necessarily a dislike, because that's what makes it such a good horror. So I feel conflicted saying that it's a dislike, but it makes me uncomfortable to a point where I don't know if I can recommend this movie. You know?
Nah, I think everybody should see this to get that uncomfortable. To get desensitized.
But it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you know how it's such a weird, disturbing, kind of bizarre movie to a point where it's like, if you recommend it, people will be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, somebody...
It's like that.
I did that to my cousin. I told him to watch Napoleon Dynamite, and he's like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. But it wasn't that... It was weird. I would say it's the same weird shit, but it's
That's
just...
hilarious.
It's the same weird shit, but this is more disturbing.
This one is weird. Because it's like... Yeah. It's just too weird that I don't know if I can recommend it. I just don't know.
But you guys should watch it, though.
I mean, if any of these things are vibing with you and you're super curious, then you already know your answer. You've got to watch it. But at the same time, it's just so unsettling.
I would watch it just to see Ada, because just to watch her running around and shit, you're like,
I don't want to see her again. I just don't want to see her again.
I want to know what happens next in her life.
Oh my god. You say that for every single movie. Ian's like, this was not enough. I need to see a part 3, part 4. Why do you need a part? 2. Why do you need so many parts?
Well, the way that the movie ended, that was might be a dislike.
It was a clear cut.
She was just like, what's her name? Maria?
Yes.
Yeah, at the end she was just like, taking a sigh, like I don't know, was it, she was like, thank God this is over? Or what? Or this is my life now? I have nothing? Like, what was...
I think it's the latter. I think she understood that she in fact stole someone's child, and she was getting the karma back at her, and that would, like, she couldn't do anything about that.
Yeah, so now what happens to her life? That's what I want to know.
Her life is miserable, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty much what you can guess. Okay, the last thing that I want to mention in terms of dislikes is that a lot of it isn't actually horror, right? It's disturbing and it's unsettling, but it's not like traditionally horror. It doesn't have traditional horror tropes where you can kind of you anticipate what's going to happen because it's a horror movie. Mm-hmm. Some of it reads like a drama, because at the end of the day, the story, like a huge element of the story, is about a couple who can't have a child and are struggling, grappling, dealing, coping with that. And to me, that's more of like a drama-driven storyline. And so a lot of it is that. It's them navigating through that trauma and dealing with this hybrid life that they are now raising.
But what about sci-fi also?
What makes it sci-fi?
The goat man. Or the same thing, the hybrid.
I see what you mean, like the anatomy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not sci-fi. When I think sci-fi, I think like aliens and shit.
Yeah. Is it the disturbing part?
It's the disturbing part.
That
makes it horror? The goat man that makes it horror, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't really scared. It was like, you're just like, what's going on here?
You can kind of look at it as like, okay, I'm going to use this as a very loose example or comparison, but Saltburn was disturbing as well, but that wasn't a horror at all.
No.
It was just it was just a disturbing drama. And in a way, this is kind of like that too.
I guess, yeah, because you get it took something that, like, is an everyday life thing, like, you know, somebody has a kid, and then it just made it into some weird ass shit.
point is, it has a lot of horror elements. It's just a completely different take than what you're used to.
To recap,
I
watch
don't
this
know.
movie. Watch this movie and then tell us what you think.
Ian says watch this movie for sure. I say, I don't really know. I don't know if I want other people to feel as disturbed as I do, but you know what? If you make that choice and then let us know.
Maybe that's the horror. The horror is that you're so disturbed that it bothers you in real life. That's the horror part.
I mean, it's definitely the horror part for me. Because I am horrified of the whole thing. I don't ever want to rewatch or go back to this again. I'm just so disturbed. But I do have a question for the audience, and this is a very niche question. So I hope people listen to this episode before they go into the discussion post. Otherwise, this is not going to make any sense to anybody. But do lambs/goats freak you out?
Didn't they say like the devil is like a goat? Or remember Black Phillip
It
from
was
The Witch?
a good animal choice.
Yeah.
For sure. Because, of course, we have the witch. And there's just something about the eyes, the beady eyes of lambs and goats that I think people get freaked out about. I'm personally not freaked out by them, but after watching this movie, I probably won't ever look at them the same.
I mean, I played with goats and lambs and all that, so they do not freak me out. But you guys answer.
Yes, you let us know in the discussion post. Of course, we always have a discussion post on Instagram after an episode goes live, so head over there, let us know your thoughts. I'm very curious about this one, clearly. But thank you so much for listening today. If you liked today's episode and you want to hear more from us, do us a favor and share our podcast with a friend or family member. The more you share, the more others will be able to listen and hear about us, and so that just helps us out, so we appreciate it. And tune in next Wednesday, because we're going to be talking about the latest installation of a seemingly never-ending horror franchise, Saw X. Is X?
10.
10. Saw 10.
I mean, yeah, they put the X on it.
Saw 10.
So it was 10.
All right, but for now, we'll see you in the kitchen with a knife.